Trish Bendix, and welcome to the L Word Generation Q panel for the OutFronts presented by Outfest. I'm joined here today by some of the cast, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Let's start with Rosanny.
Hi, I'm Rosanny Zayas, and I play Sophie on the L Word Generation Q.
All right, Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Toboni, and I play Finley on the L Word Generation Q.
Arienne.
Hi, I'm Arienne Mandi, and I play Danny on the L Word Generation Q.
And Leo.
Hi, I'm Leo Sheng, and I play Micah on L Word Generation Q.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. This is so exciting. I'm sure fans are thrilled to hear a little bit about what we can expect for next season, but hopefully, not too much so you guys don't get into. But I would like to start with what surprised you all about fan reactions to season 1 of Generation Q?
Oh. How many opinions there were. Just in terms of who should be together, who shouldn't be together. It's nice to have such a engaged audience because it really gives you an idea of what's playing and what's not, and just what people are liking. It's awesome. We love it. Or I should speak for myself. I love it. Leo, on the other hand, hates the fans. I'm just kidding.
Someone mute her.
Already?
2 minutes in.
Leo, rebuttal?
No, I definitely agree. I mean, for me, we left on such a great cliffhanger, and people were so pissed at Jose, and they were tweeting at me Micah should still be with him and be understanding. Micah should dump him, and just the passion for these characters that they were only 8 episodes of a story, just how quickly people kind of connected and felt so defensive and just so in touch with. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, I really loved reading comments on social media where people were like, oh, I really identify with so-and-so because I'm also, of that ethnic background, or I also grew up in this place, or I'm also experiencing what that person is experiencing in the show. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, so you feel identified, and that I think is awesome.
I'd say that I'm from New York, so I came out here to LA for the show, and I think it was really just a lot of fun on how much I got to connect with more people out here from LA and this side of town, and talking to them about the show, and everyone, yeah, same as Jack. You should be with her because it was really funny. I loved it.
Oh my gosh. So what questions do you get from fans? Obviously they have opinions and thoughts about who your character should be with or what they should be doing, but what do they want to know about you or your character?
A lot of proposals.
Oh.
A lot of proposals in the DMs. Which I've said yes to all of them. So, I'm now a polygamist and breaking out with too many marriages. But I think after episode 3 aired of last year, I definitely got a lot of people reaching out about religion and coming to terms with their sexuality and how that dichotomy can be such just a hell of a thing to deal with. And I grew up Catholic, so it was nice to, it was almost therapeutic getting to hear from all those people and how they felt, and people wanting to know if I identified like that and what my struggles were. And so it was good. It was nice to, have that interaction with people.
Anyone else get questions?
I don't get questions necessarily. I get messages from a lot of parents of trans kids. For me, episode 7, when Micah's mom came, there was a lot of debate around Micah's reaction to her misgendering and showing photos of him. And, I think that really sparked a chord with a lot of people who were parents or maybe just close with a youth who was trans or someone who's trans. So I get a lot of, parents like, how can I best support my child? Like friends, like my friend just came out. I'd like to send them a care package. These really sweet, like this clear desire to want to be a better ally and support trans folks in other people's lives. And so, yeah, it's not really a question, but I've been really blown away by the amount of people who just really want to support and show love to the trans folks in their lives. And that's really sweet and just really touching.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of messages from China, people in China who watch the show, and actually in the Middle East, Turkey specifically. Got a bunch of them, and it was really nice to hear them talk about how there's not much representation in TV and film, obviously, in those countries, and that when they got to see the show, however they got their hands on the show, because it's not readily available over there, that they were so moved by seeing our stories told. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Along the same lines, I got a lot of Latin or Latinx queer representation, but also within a family dynamic, like Sophie's family, and a lot of the music that was played, like when Sophie and Micah would dance to the Tata song. Like when that came out in that episode, that was definitely a strong point of, wow, I never thought I would hear this song on television. Which was really nice.
Awesome. So I'm curious about, when you first got the character breakdowns, or when you first went into auditions, how much your characters changed to reflect a little bit more of who you are, and if you could see any of that writing toward, any certain specifics about you or your strengths, or your personality as a person.
Ooh, I have a good one for this. I feel like going into first season, like Danny was like this very serious businesswoman, and that's like how I saw her. And to bring her more dynamic personality out, I think the writers were great about taking a lot from me and like checking with me and asking questions like, how do you react under pressure, or how do you react when you're in love, or what is your specific reaction to these situations, and kind of weaving that into my story and allowing me to play more on that. And I thought that was really fun to be able to like bring a little bit of Ari into Danny's life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before we started season 1, we all, or I guess maybe it was in the middle of season 1. You guys could tell me if I'm right or wrong, but we all sat down with the entire writer's room.
Yeah.
This is obviously pre-COVID, and they just sort of asked us questions, and we're getting to know us. But you could tell that like some of the questions were geared into like, a perfect example was what Ari said. Like, how do you handle pressure? Like, when you have gone through breakups, how did you react? And stuff like that. And so just a bit more authentic. And obviously when you're acting something that's, true to your experiences, it's a lot easier and your performance ends up being better. But they also wanted it to be aligned with, queer stories that are, that you potentially have been through, or anyway, something you could relate to. One hilarious thing that's a little off topic, but Finley is an Olympic swimmer. And like a huge part, like in the breakdown of the audition, and a huge part of my character was that I was in the Olympics for swimming, and it's all throughout the first episode, and sort of reflects on, how Finley is sort of like stunted growth wise, and how like there's always been a path for her. And now that there's not, she's like having to confront some troubles that she never had to previously. And then in episode, I think 4, I get into the pool and I'm just like treading water, hanging out. And I saw it. The barger saw it and was like, "You don't look like an Olympic swimmer." And I was like, "I was trying. I was just hanging out in the pool." I thought, she was like, "You could tell." So now it just got totally cut for the first episode, and I'm not an Olympic swimmer, even though yeah. Anyway, I thought that was a good that you guys might enjoy. That's very embarrassing for myself.
I did not realize they cut that after seeing that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I got the breakdown when I was still finishing school, or not even finishing, in school, and it was kind of the first character breakdown I'd really seen, and it was like call for Asian trans guy, and I think originally it was written that he's more into hookups and he doesn't do dating, and there was some line, and I always get it wrong. It's like if Micah had a tagline, it'd be like, breakfast is easy, dating is hard, or something like that. And that's not exactly in line with my personality. But I thought it was really cool. I just was like, and I was just kind of so enamored by this entire process of auditioning that I was just kind of really going with it and like doing whatever I could. And amazingly, I got the part. But similar along the lines of once I got the role, there's a lot of questions around like, how do you deal with conflict? What is your relationship with your parents like? Things that just I couldn't really see what the end goal was, but to see just like the way that we deal with life in general, to have that be reflected, because like you wouldn't want to watch a show where people are like, you're clearly seeing people be someone different. You want to feel that connection. You want to feel like it's a part of them, an extension of them that they're bringing to life. And I think that that's what we've been able to do. Personally, I think we've been able to do that. And so like to see Micah, in the first season, we do see him not really being someone who likes to date or go on and have relationships, but just the communication around that and like trying to find a way to bring that to life in a way that felt authentic was really a testament to the writing. And it's like kind of smaller details too. It's like Micah was originally, I've talked about this before, scientist at JPL, and I was cast and I was talking with Marcia, I was like, this is a really cool job. I also like feel like we've seen a lot of Asian people in STEM fields. Like, what does it look like if you did go to, one of the ideas was being like a adjunct professor of social work, and so like these things that felt good to us, and also like always thinking about the broader picture too. I mean, that's what Marcia's always saying. Like, think about the little Leo, And so this has gone on a huge tangent, but it's really just ultimately I've really enjoyed seeing what their goal was, and also seeing what we wanted to portray and like the messages we wanted to send, and how do we do that as our characters with all of our identities that we hold off the show and on the show. And so it's just been really, really fun to see, and also just like the continuation, not giving anything away, just the continuation of our characters' growth and changes this season.
When I got this audition, I had just finished doing a play, I think, in New York, and I read the pilot, and I was like, this is good, right? I like this. I was like, I really like the writing. And then the breakdown, it was pretty consistent with like what happened. I'm a producer on Alice's show, and in a relationship with her partner Danny, and
okay, low blow.
I'm sorry,
guys,
I had to. Easy pickings. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
don't fight this. There's enough for me to go around. And yeah, it was. I think definitely we all had that day where we. I still hadn't come out here yet, but so I zoomed into the writer's room, and it was really cool. They just wanted to hear how I talked and how I expressed myself, and through different situations in my life, and really trying to find my voice, so that when we had started working, that it was easy and not something that I had to work really hard for when I got to set. So that was really interesting, and still I think even throughout the season, like we all collectively worked hard to find these characters and to really create an exciting story, I think. So I don't think that, I mean, as from my experience, I don't think that ever stops. I think it's just like you as a person, every day you change and you learn new things about yourself, and I think that's not any different to characters on television. So that's been a lot of fun and super interesting to learn about in this world.
Do you guys do anything specific to get into character?
I have a speaker in my trailer.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, yes.
Ro has like 4 subwoofers. It's like radiating through Ari and
I
I's
have like
trailers.
a nice, cute little Fender speaker, and I
Nice.
blast that thing, and I just sing my little heart out to get ready to go on set.
I listen to music from the person in my trailer listening to music.
I play good music. What can I
You
say?
do. I actually love it.
He
I don't
does.
mind it at all. It's like super fun. And I'm like, oh wow, that's the mood she's in. Okay.
What kind of music? Can you give us any, hints as to what you're listening to?
R&B, a lot of hip hop, but then one day I'll be in like a Foo Fighters mood.
Okay.
Or I'll be in like the Academy Is mood,
Okay.
and I'll just be like, this is today. This is who I am today. It's nice.
Anyone else?
Last season, Jillian, who plays Maribel, Sophie's sister, said that she really liked to watch all of us kind of right before they yelled action. And I was like, it made me think, like, what do I do right before they yell action? And I don't even know if it's a character, to getting into character, or just kind of getting ready for like for that moment. But like, I'll like crack my neck and I'll do my like crack my knuckles and kind of like shake it out. But I noticed this year my voice changes with Micah, and it's not a conscious decision. And so I don't think it's me getting into character, but it's a character trait that I just only noticed maybe 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
Nice. All
Yeah, I
right.
feel like right before the election, I'm always like, for some reason, getting ready to run a race. I'm like, like doing this or I'm like, what? I don't know, but I did.
can confirm that is a thing.
Confirmed.
So, a big part of the L word has always been sex and sex scenes. And so I have to ask about your experience. Are you able to watch yourself in your sex scenes? And what's that like?
Ari's like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I usually just play it on a loop in the morning, at night, in the afternoon. Depends on the day. No. I've gotten used to it. I think I was so curious when Rosanny and I did our very first sex scene. Obviously, it was daunting, and I was like, oh my God, I've obviously never done this before. And I wanted to see what it looked like. I was like, I hope it looks like we're in it, because obviously there's so many things going through my mind, at least, where I'm like figuring out like what it is that we discuss with, like, obviously the camera's here and like we're naked, and it's the first time was definitely daunting, but I made the decision to watch it, and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. I'm not over here like watching it all the time, but I don't mind it.
I think it's sometimes we go to watch parties, like at bars that are hosting an L word watch party. And I remember being like, oh no, what episode is this? Do I have to leave right now? Thankfully, it was not an episode that I had any sex scenes in it. But like, that's really what you don't want to do, is go into a room with like 100 other people drinking, cheering while you're watching. It's just like, no, thank you. I'm like, I have to set myself up for success here.
That definitely happened to me. I went to one night. It was one night where, I don't know. It was like, I was like, oh, it's the day that the show airs. I was like, oh, let me just go into a bar, and they played it. And I was naked. And, the whole bar was just silent. It was
Wow.
No.
That girl, and she's right there. Those are her boobies, and then those are her boobies right there. Oh my! And I was like, okay, just one more minute, and then one more minute, and it's gone, and then gone, and then you can feel the relief of like, oh, okay, That was weird.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think it's obviously and very, very assuredly different for guys in general. Like nudity for us is a different spectrum. And so like us being shirtless doesn't require the same, set guidelines. And nudity, the definition of nudity is very different for guys. So my sex scenes, while terrifying, have a very different effect on me than I'm sure they had on you all. I mean, I've never done a TV show, let alone a sex scene. Damn, like I didn't know what like it is very true for me. Like when you hear actors say doing sex scenes are not sexy, like they are incredibly technical, and I've only ever done them with an intimacy coordinator, and I'm super grateful for that because it's like there's just so much that goes into it, so much care, and like there has to be so much trust, and there has to be so much understanding, and watching them, I think about when we filmed them. But I went home back before COVID, like last January. I think it was episode 3 or 4 at the bar for Sheng's birthday, where it's kind of is it? No, I can't. I can't. It might have been in those couple of weeks of that and another episode, but I had a sex scene in one of them, and I'm watching it with my parents. And I knew it was coming. I was like, I'm just gonna go to my room, and you guys can watch this.
Oh
And
my
like I
God.
go to my room, I shut the door, and a few minutes pass, and I finally hear my mom start shouting, "Leo, Leo, Leo, no, no, what are you doing, Leo? Oh my God!" And I'm just like, I waited. I should have just waited till the episode ended because I couldn't remember how long it lasted. But so like watching them on my own is different than obviously watching them with friends and family. Don't recommend it unless that you're just super comfortable. I think if you have that relationship, go for it. But yeah.
Yeah, my mom, I talk about this all the time. My mom saw I made my brothers and sisters record my mom watching the first clip of the first episode. And it was like she was singing like a song. It went from like screaming like here, like, ah, ah, ah. Like every little clip was
Oh
genius.
my God. You're like, that's your mom? Oh my God. Well, so I'm curious too, it seems like your set full of queer people, full of women, a totally different experience probably from most productions. So how does that change or affect your performance or, your feeling of safety in that kind of experience?
I mean, it's like radically different than being on, I hate to use the term like normal set, but like a standard set, like atmosphere. It's really, really different and amazing. And I can speak for myself that I feel protected and yeah, like safe and supported whenever I walk on set. And like I feel like I can bring up a problem and that's going to be okay. Or I can bring up something that I'm not super comfortable with, and immediately it's just like, okay, let's find a different way. It's not like, well, are you sure? It's time, it's time and money. So be sure if you're going to make this ask, as opposed to just, I feel, listened to.
Yeah, for sure. Same for me. I think when you just asked that question, I had like a big warm fuzzy smile on my face because it made me think of just how safe I feel there. I feel so safe and supported, just like Jack was saying. And like if there's anything that I'm not okay with, that no one's going to tell me that it's not okay for me to speak up for myself and ask for something to be modified or changed or talked through something or whatever it might be. I feel like I'm always supported.
I think in general, I think it's hard for actors to feel like they can speak up, especially in like the film industry or television, because everything is just moving so quickly, and you don't want to be the person to hold anything back, or and acting, I think, is already so hard without a pandemic to get a job. So but I think that the L Word set and everyone who works there, they're really like, if you come up to them with a problem, I agree, they'll they'll listen and they will do their best to take care of it. But it's hard to even get, like, it's a thing that it's a choice you have to make. Like, I am going to do this. But it's nice to know that the environment that you're in is like, is not questioning that at all. Like, if you can do this for yourself, which is nice. And I wish it was like that everywhere for all entertainers and performers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also say that that's something that I feel like we've learned from Kate, Leisha, and Jennifer. You know, if I'm like, oh God, this is just bothering me, they're like, don't do it then. Go up, say something. Like immediately, it's their first thing is to sort of like give us the confidence to go say something like, it's not right, change it. Because they've just been doing it for so long that I think, you know, I don't know, maybe they see themselves as young actors in our position and being like, I wish I had the confidence when I was their age. And so sort of just like instilling that in us has been pretty helpful.
Yeah, I'm curious what you might have learned from them on this show. You know, not only having, you know, there being veterans of acting in general, but having been in this world before and, you know, having played these characters for so long. Is there anything that you've taken, you know, for yourselves from watching them work?
I'd say that them instilling confidence in us is a huge thing. And it's also really different for all of them. It's hard to like group them into one thing because they're all so different. Like, and you don't get to, not everybody gets to work with each one. So I'd say it's been a radically different experience for all of us.
I think something I've taken away from watching them work is to enjoy it, to do your best to enjoy being in the moment when you can. I mean, obviously we're working, we can't like get out of character just to have a laugh, but like being able to like still find a balance and like enjoy the moments in between and enjoy what this ride is, because it is incredibly powerful and meaningful, the stories that we're telling. And so like appreciating that and finding a way to have fun. I've watched particularly Kate and Leisha just bust out laughing either during a take or between takes. And I think that speaks to like the friendship that they formed while they were working on the original and just that the relationship they've formed and like that they can still have so much fun too. And so that's really great to watch. And so it's very, very hopeful too, that like it is possible to have to work and enjoy it.
I'd say something that I've been, I'm still learning, I think, is while we're working, like sometimes if, for example, there's a line or something or a phrase that I'm saying, and for some reason I don't know why I feel unnatural saying it, learning how to talk about it or change it in a way so that it does feel natural to you but still stays in the realm of the show and television and structure of story and like what the scene is trying to tell. But at first, like I would just feel the feeling and be like, I don't know. I just feel like what? But working more and more, I've started to gain some kind of vocabulary on like, how do I address the situation to make this seem more natural, but still like tell the story, more natural to me, but still tell the story of the scene. That's been something that's been really interesting to learn how to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of piggybacking off of Leo here. I really liked what you said, Leo. In addition to that, also like having fun within our work, like within the different takes that we're given in one scene to kind of just like try different things and play and make choices that are different, not necessarily right or wrong, but just to play within the work.
Yeah, I had a scene, a lot of physicality. Nothing happened. Can't tell you what happened. It was a lot of physicality, and the note was just have fun with it. That was actually a note I got, is have fun with it. And it can be sort of hard in the moment when you're doing all these things, but you're like, okay, it can be silly or it can be whatever they're saying. But actually that's a really good point too, around like feeling like you can say, feeling like you can say like, this doesn't sound, I'm having trouble making this sound natural. Can I say this? And I think first season I didn't have any bloopers and I didn't really mess up too much because I was terrified of like this whole process. And this season, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be more like self-advocating. Like if I, not in a way like anything bad happened, but just like feeling more like I can say things. And I spent so much time memorizing the words, and now I'm trying to memorize the tone and like how can the words match that. And if it doesn't feel right, feeling more confident saying like, can I play with this a little bit? Can I add this? Can I change this word? I think speaks to, again, like the environment we're in, and maybe just personal growth. I don't know.
Great. So I want to talk a little bit about season 2, whatever we can say, without getting in trouble. So, there was a lot of cliffhangers, a lot of like, we're not sure what's going to happen. So I know that we're gonna do our best to avoid any spoilers. I'm wondering if there's one word that you can use to describe something, about your character's journey in season 2, and maybe it'll be like broad enough that it will tell us something and nothing at the same time.
Like impossible. I'm gonna piggyback off of that sort of. I'm gonna say, like rough and joyful.
Oh, okay.
Both things can be true at once. Would you guys feel like that's accurate for Finley?
I think so.
Okay. Well, anyway, that, and then I will say, like, it's gonna feel like a different show, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is what I think I'm most excited for the fans to see is we definitely evolved from season 1, and I mean, in every way. Partly, I think, because of COVID, and partly because we learned some stuff season 1. But even like how the camera moves, how the show looks, the writing, our characters, the acting. I feel like we all learned a lot from what we were doing season 1. So it's like it's 2.0. I'm really proud of stuff we're all doing.
Nice.
For Micah, I think I'd say discovery.
Okay.
Yeah. Next. Just gonna stop all in my head.
Well, you don't have to make it one word if that's too difficult. We can, I'm curious, like, I know there's not much you can say, but, anything about what we can expect in terms of like, kind of like what Jacqueline was saying, there's been some evolving. Is there anything that you see? Yeah, Arienne?
I'm gonna go with the choices for Danny.
Okay.
Choices.
I'm gonna say roller coaster.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's good.
That's my word.
See, we still know nothing. So helpful. But excited. So there's some more season 2 guest stars I think we're allowed to discuss. So I'm curious, and I don't know if you can speak to any of you having necessarily worked on screen with them, but maybe you got to have a chance to, spend time with them, like Rosie O'Donnell, Donald Faison, like, I'd love to hear about your experience. Oh, Vanessa Williams, right? Yeah. So what can you guys say?
I tried to pitch like 6 different storylines where Rosie and I would get to hang out, and it didn't work.
Well, it didn't work out.
Or did they? Who knows?
Or did they? Yeah. Well,
did you get to meet her?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is fun. We're in the same vicinity. Yeah. She's just as unbelievable as you like her to be. It's just she's amazing. I'm in awe. I love her.
I was gonna say that I think we have so many gems this season. Of course, we did last season as well, but this season I think really just all of them are powerhouses and really cool people, really funny people. God, Donald Faison is possibly one of the funniest beings I think I've ever met. And his goal is just like to come on set and make everyone laugh at all times, and he succeeds always. he is hilarious. Everyone's great. I didn't get to meet Rosie as much. I wish I did and like hang out with her, but we stood in line together for a COVID test for like a few seconds, and we chit chatted, and that was really nice. And then Vanessa is just a lovely human being, such a kind person. We celebrated my birthday together on set. She was there for that. That was fun. Yeah, just everyone's so great. I'm really excited.
Yeah, everybody has all the guest stars, everyone really. They all have such an amazing presence. Like you can just walk on set and you know they're there. You know they're there, which is really nice and comforting. And they're all just fun people that you just want to hang out with, which is really cool.
Yeah.
They're. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, and everybody has a pretty incredible arc. We're not
I was just about
so like fluff. I guess because of COVID is we don't have like people coming in and out of our set. So the people we're using, it feels like we're really using, and they have incredible arcs and storylines, and they're doing like really great work.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the folks I've gotten to meet Rosie and Donald, who again is hilarious. Rosie is incredible, and Laurel, who's super sweet. Excuse me. And everyone is just like has is kind of a legend in their own right. Like with this incredible history of work, and so it's I get starstruck. I for sure get starstruck, and oh my god, I remember last year the table read. Before Laura was announced, we came in and and Jack was sitting right next to me, and I was like, and Jack's like, dude, be cool.
It's Tina. It's Tina. Like, dude, you gotta come down.
She was literally like, chill. But it, and then I think this season again, due to like growth as actors, as people, as in the show, like I've felt more confident just saying, oh hi, I play Micah, like really nice to meet you, and it's just incredible. It's such a privilege.
And lastly, is there anything that, avoiding spoilers again, that you can maybe tease a little that you were excited to be able to do this season, or maybe someone, you probably can't tell us somebody you worked with. I'm trying to think of like a way to get you to tell us anything at all about season 2 that won't get anyone in trouble. So, was there anything that we can look forward to that you can tell us?
So I think there's just more intermingling of the characters. We just intermingle more amongst people that maybe didn't intermingle last season, or did last season, don't anymore, or perhaps we all just intermingle. I don't know.
Okay.
Intermingle for sure.
I'm really excited to. I mean, the show is Generation Q, and so like queerness is kind of embedded in the premise of our show. And I think that we get to just continue to explore it in a way that feels exciting for me, for Micah, and have fun.
I'm excited to see, I think, more work-related stuff for Sophie. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Fun times at work, I'd say.
Oh.
I got
fun times that work for you too, Jacqueline?
What'd you say?
I said fun times that work for you too.
No. Nope. No fun times for Finley. Oh.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see season 2, and I'm sure you guys look forward to being able to talk about it and chat with the fans about it once it does come out. So thank you so much for doing your best not to spoil anything and to share a little bit with us. Really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank
so
you.
much, Trish.
This is fun.
Yay.